We're up and streaming again. I was going to wait a few days before I came back to do part two of this excellent puzzle, which is paper folding by EP, which is of course a collaboration between two setters, Encota and Ploy. Just trying to work out where we're up to. So it was only a few hours ago, but that's right. We had done a first run through of the clues, and just looking at what we've got here, we managed to solve a few of them. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got 11 of the clues out, which is pretty good, and we managed to get some of those entries, well, parts of those answers entered into the grid. So just give me 1 second. So we managed to get some of the entries into the grid, and of course, just to revisit the preamble, there is some funny stuff going on with the clues. So there's a single misprint in the definition of each clue, but some clues, this is a part that's highlighted in purple, have entries. So I'm going to read it verbatim for a reason. Certain entries have clues that start at an arbitrary point and wrap around to their beginning. Now, I think that's actually a reference to what the clue itself does. I think the clue starts at an arbitrary point and wraps around to its beginning. But I think certain entries also do the same thing, and I suspect that. Let me just find an example of that here. I suspect it's the clues that have that wrap around to the beginning. I think it's an indication that if a clue does that. Actually, no, it's not. I was wondering if that was an indication that then perhaps the entry would do that too. So I might come back to that. It might not be wrong. Might not be wrong to suppose that that's what is happening here. I think the test of whether or not that's happening will be whether or not this word here, describing disease as a definition, actually ends in an E. And I'm just going to park that thought for a moment and come back to that, and I'll explain my logic once we've worked that out. Now, when I was on my way home, there was another clue that I was thinking about, and that's this one, stale. Starts at 15, goes around to 4. We don't have 15 or 4 in the grid yet, but last of strudel is L, follows stale. Now, stale is a word for urinate. So I wonder if what we're actually looking at here is L after something like we or P. That would mean that sea trout in Paris is the definition, but of course with a misprint. So I'm just going to have a look at the Chamber's definitions of both peel and wheel. See if we can find something which could be just one letter off sea trout in Paris. Not sure. Yeah, no, you're fine there. So peel, I don't think that's going to. Have a proper. Oh no, a peel is a young sea trout. P-E-E-L. I think the misprint here is a dialectical word. So misprint here is going to have to be in Paris. So we change the I to a T, and then we get sea trout in parts. Which is a nice little get. Where are we? Oh, can you angle that light this way, just so I can see this screen? Actually, I might have a... Oh no, it's all good. I can lighten that up. So it starts at 15. We put the P in here. Ends at 4. So my theory is that clues that where the entry needs to wrap around the grid are also potentially the certain clues where the clue starts, not in the first word, but starts somewhere and wraps around. And the reason I think that is, I'm just looking at the reason I was confused a bit before about whether that was the case, because this first clue here, which goes from 2 to 30, I had assumed that that just goes straight down this way, or perhaps this way. But if that was the case, and that little theory that I have about there being a synergy between clues which wrap around on each other and entries which wrap around on each other might be incorrect. So it may well be that 2 to 30 actually follows a slightly different path. Like, for example, that there, potentially. SOFTEN. But a few things will need to happen for that to be the case. The first is that... Actually, no, it might not be quite like that. Anyway, we'll get to the bottom of it. But I think a bellwether of whether or not that is possibly the case will be if 26, the clue that ends in the 26th cell, which is this one describing disease. Let me just make sure that's the only one. Actually does end in E. If I've got an E there at the moment, might be incorrect. What have we got with our next run through of these clues? Just wondering where we should start. Antiquities of the past. Element of field might be F. Study could be lab, for example. I'm just looking here in the top. We need to go from 8 to 7, so that's what gives me the idea that study, we could be looking for a 3-letter word starting with L, and the only thing I can think of is lab, so flab only means excess body fat, so it's probably not that. But is there a word that means study that starts with L is only 3 letters? Not sure. Not sure. What? Where did we have our stale before? Better put that in here. Sea trout in Paris. Oops. That was 15 to 4, wasn't it? Oh, Stacey. Ah, that's what I was going to do. Put that in bold and make that blue. Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it?
No, I forgot about it's still there.
Oh no, but it bounces against.
Okay, yeah, I know, but still.
No. It's not really.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so completely neutralised.
Ah, right.
Pretty good, right? Sorry about that. I was talking about something non-crossroad related. Pills once seen an image from the rear. This is the other one which I was a bit confused about, because image from the rear, it always wants to give us gam. But I mean, that's a word that I can't get to mean pills once. I think we worked out that it is an archaic US word to just make a social call on somebody, usually used to describe when a whaler does it. And Gam is, of course, a school of whales, I think, but I don't think that's what we are looking for there. Weasels, perhaps? Looking at the next one. Not originally found in level places. No idea what that could be. Weasels, perhaps. Not originally found in level places. I really like the idea of the definition being weasels, perhaps. That would fit with this potentially being a clue that doesn't wrap around. Not originally found in level places. Level places. Platform or something. It could just simply be inserting N into something. I wonder if it could be N into plans, perhaps to give plants. Oh no, plats? No, because I was thinking plants. There's so many plants, weasels could... Let me just look up what the definition of plat is. Plot of ground. A flat thing. Here we go. Plat is a flat thing or surface. Yeah, level places must be plats. So, not originally gives N from not inside that. The answer has to be plants, if that's the case. Then it means that we need to work out a misprint in weasels to give plants. P cells maybe? P-A-S-E-L, is that? No, P's is. French is for flat is plat, as in plateau. Very nice, thank you. A teasel is a plant, so the W changes to a T. I like it when you sort of get an instinct about something and that instinct proves right. Okay, I'm just going to note that correction here on my actual page. But that goes from 18 to 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can't go to the left, but it can. I'm just going to have to use up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to have to potentially do something like this. Let me just put it in red. That's assuming that it does not go, because that gets us from the P to the S. 6 letters. Actually, I'm going to put that in black. This is not one of the across clues where the which has been cycled, where the clue starts elsewhere. Which means I think that I can't. I'd put E in this spot here, just above the, sorry, in the number 26 cell, because I was operating on the basis that soften probably goes straight down. From 2 to 30, but that is a cycled clue, so perhaps it doesn't. I'm going to remove that E because I just simply cannot be sure that it's there. And what that means is describing disease does not necessarily end in an E, which is... I actually feel a little bit more comfortable about that. Describing disease being the definition, because in describing disease, what would that be? That would be an adjective, I think, and I mean, adjectives don't typically, in that sense, maybe don't necessarily end in. Oh no, it could. I mean, and we do have the greenish blue thing. Round the greenish blue round the edges. You know, I'm probably not. Just don't have enough data to know. Right, let's just try and pick another one of these ones at random. The concealed, perhaps, when retreating commandos thus. 28 across. So it starts at 28. It's in the far eastern side of. I can't even call it a grid. I think I just need to call it a net of some sort. It goes through to 36. I mean, it might be that eventually we have just enough data here that we are able to start trying to intuit what some of the inside letters might be. The fact that 28 is here on the eastern side of the field and 36 is all the way over here, I mean, that strongly suggests that we are looking again at a entry that wraps around, and if my theory about that also meaning that the clues wrap around is correct, then that means that we're looking at a clue. Such a clue here. Concealed, perhaps, when retreating commandos thus. Commando, when retreating, commandos thus concealed, perhaps. Perhaps when retreating, commandos thus concealed. But I really want it to be a reversal indicator, but I just can't quite. A hidden reversal clue, but I just can't quite get it there. And there aren't many candidates there for obvious misprints either. Let's try and find another one that we could have a crack at, and then maybe we can start to have a more systemic, make a more systemic attack. So we have here, I think this is a clue which might cycle. Oh, wait a second. Victory point gaming is a tip. Oh, it is. Thus equals ergo. That's correct. Commando can be para. I mean, I'm going to make note of those things because that's probably a nice little jumping off point when we next come to consider it. I was just having a look at this one here, which is a 4-letter word starting with W. I think this is a cycled clue. I think the answer is going to be given by the letter O in a word meaning conservation trust. The Victory Point gaming says ogre is possible. So perhaps I think the difficulty with that is that if the final word there is thus, if it's not part of a definition, it's corrected. We don't necessarily have something that suggests a reversal of the ergo part. But I mean, it's such a popular sort of cluing gimmick, isn't it, to turn ergo into ogre and ogre into ergo. Just coming back to 32 through 31, I think the clue is in Perth. We currently have unringed, but it could be unhinged, for example. Ostriches beginning to be protected by Conservation Trust. So I think that's simply O inside a three-letter term for Conservation Trust, but I'm just not sure what the World Wildlife Fund. I mean, is that a conservation trust? Worldwide Fund for Nature, formerly the World Wildlife Fund. But you can't really put an O inside that, can you? I don't think it's a conservation trust either. It's annoying that I'm not able to easily pick it out. Three-letter World Wildlife, sorry, Conservation Trusts. Starting with W. It's probably a capital. Let's go through and see what Chambers does give us in terms of capital. It's World Boxing Council, World Boxing Federation, Council of Churches, Welsh Development Agency, probably not. World Health Organisation, Women's Land Army, Weapons of Mass Destruction. What do you reckon the Women's Rural Institute might be? Probably not. World Tourism Organisation? Probably had a look at WWF. What are we looking for? Women's Rural Institute. No, it's not separately defined. Victory Point Gaming asks, other than the misprints, are the clues normal cryptic clues? Other than the misprints, there's always a misprint in definition. I'll just zoom in here on that part of the preamble for you. Some of the clues, so all clues have misprints in the definition. Some of the clues are cycled. Hey Liari, I am back. Some of the clues are cycled, so certain entries have clues that start at an arbitrary point and wrap around to their beginning. So that's the trickiness that we're dealing with there. Bordeaux Massive. Bottles stacking up to, I mean, ordinarily bottles you want that to be an indication of something hidden. But I don't think that's what's going on here. So this is 35 through to
Darn, it takes 7 minutes. It takes 9 minutes.
23. We know it ends in S.
I would.
Bordeaux Massive. And what's the French word for massive? Stacking up time. Enorme. Don't think it fits. We've got 38 through to 21. Boy, this squat has 7 knowing little. I mean, it could be a cycling clue. Boy could give lad. has 7 knowing little. This squat has 7. PoTY could well be Vin. Or wine. I feel like, though, it would be clued as a definition by example if it was simply wine. I could be wrong. I've seen stranger things. This squat has 7. Knowing little. It could be a word for knowing. Little in the sense of last letter's gone, with lad for boy. And the definition is somehow given by this squat has 7, with a misprint, of course. And we have 39 to 13, and oh, this is interesting. I think. Wait a second. 6 letters. We can't get from 39 to 13 in directly in only 6 letters. What that tells me is I think we have to go through something. Probably have to go. Where would we go through?
Hello.
Not sure. A pure person. He made fast tent deliveries. Reportedly. Definition could be he made. Can't quite work it out. Deliveries reportedly could be over. Or deliveries could be over, as in 6 deliveries to an over. Reportedly could give something like OVA. It's not really giving me much. I mean, this one here shouldn't be too complex. 27 through to 19. 6 letters. It may well be an entry that just goes directly through that T in cell 20. But I mean, you always want the clue to be net and half of profit, unexpectedly or anagrammed. And I think the only word that we found that looked like that before was repton, who's a landscape gardener, but can't really work out how to make that fit. Oh, here we go. Now, channel losing energy, disrupting standard net in 3D. Netting? No, it's not going to be 3D because we don't have down entries, do we? So we're having a look at, I mean, standard can be norm and par. It can also, I suppose, be flag. I think it could well be a word for channel, which is losing the letter E. Where's it start? 22 through to 24. It's only 6 letters. What are some words for channel? Duct, passage, conduit, main, bed, gutterway, ditch, trench, sluice, lead? No. Lane? I don't think so. If it was lane without the E, I think I'd go inside. Is P-L-A-N-R a word? P-L-A-N-A-R. I'm just wondering if that's a word. It certainly looks like one. It can also be. The channel can also be. There's a word for water. I think as we get down here to other channels, we're probably looking at BUs. Let's just come back to this idea of P-L-A-N-A-R. It is a word. Relating to a plane. Yes. Standard net in... Oh, isn't that interesting? The misprint here may well be a misprint of a word. So line in a single plane flat. So you change 3D to 2D. The net in through 2D would be given by planar, which is of course lane without the E inside par for norm. So that gives us 22 P, or what's that? For 24 and R. To get around there, I'm just going to put this in red because I'm not totally confident of it, but confident enough. Especially saying it's not a cycled clue. P-L-A-N-A-R. I think that's the only way one could get from 22 to 24 without hopping over things. No, sorry, with only 6 letters. If we got... So that's the only word that uses 24 and 22. But we did just fill in 28. So it may be that this 28 here starts with A. We don't know for sure, but let's pretend for a moment it is. Thus concerned, perhaps, when... So this maybe it's this concealed when retreating commandos. Or commandos this concealed. No. But what's Arab backwards? I mean, Arab backwards isn't a word. Ammo. Check this out. Ammo. AMMO is concealed in... So, it's concealed in commando. I think that's going to be a word that starts here, and the wordplay is given by this one. So I think the proper clue, corrected, is actually commando apostrophe S, as in commando has this concealed perhaps when retreating. The answer is ammo. So we go from 28. That would confirm our A in 28. That is a splendid clue. A in 28 gives us O in 36. And just in case we weren't already sure, it does wrap around, and that is perhaps signified as well by the fact that the clue must wrap around as well. So let me just... I'm going to highlight that as another clue which definitely wraps around. I'm going to put my correction there. I'm going to start just trying to enter some more of these things. So I'm going to make an assumption that the grid wraps around just horizontally. So AM here, that is going to meet up with the M here, and that's how we get to the A for ammo. That makes sense to me. Makes a lot of sense to me. Not too sure about the up-down thing. I think unless I actually put it together, I'm not sure how it's going to go. Oh, thanks, mate. Oh, thank you very much. That's lovely. Did you make it?
No.
That's nice. So, I mean, maybe we can start just trying to put some more in here. Oh, it's hot. Hot. Maybe we can start putting some more tentative letters from these other entries in. Do we have anything that starts down here with the 36 or the 32? I mean, we had that wig. We have the 25. We have 25 going through to 23. Sorry, 35 going through to 23. That makes me think that this potentially has to be mass here. I think this is Xmas. And it is actually just a hidden indicator, but it was sneaky because wouldn't usually be looking for that sort of word thing. But it's Christmas, and the answer here is not stacking up time; it's stocking up time, in the sense that Christmas is a time when you put up your stockings. It's very sneaky. At the same time, a very clever clue. I love these puzzles which have changes to the definitions, particularly. Changes the definitions because it means they're probably not as tricky as puzzles where you might have a misprint anywhere in the clue, but also because there is so much fun that a solver can have with a witty clue. Now, because that's a clue that doesn't seem to involve any cycling, I'm going to assume that it just goes straight up there. So that means we can confidently make that M from Xmas a permanent entry. I'm very pleased with that. Does the fact that we have that 35 give us anything else? I don't think it does. I'm feeling much more confident about this idea that cycle clues involve cycled entries. So I can't quite work out where softening is, because I'm prepared to make the guess that the cycling laterally is correct, but I'm not sure. Why wouldn't I make the same assumption with the other ones? There's no reason not to. So we can go from 2 to 30. How do we do that? Say, soften starts there. 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that doesn't get us there, does it? Let's count this out a different way. 1, 2. No. No. There's something else going on with these other entries. I think 1, 2, 3. No, this is it. I've got it. Goes this way. Potentially. S at the top. 1, 2. OFTEN. So that's probably an answer for soften. Opal, let's see if we can fit that in. 9 through to 16.
L.
It's going to go directly there. It's not going to cross over anything. 9 to 16.
Use my next.
That can go this way or that way. So
Nice. They were yummy though. I might get some. Where'd you get them?
can't do anything with that.
Where did you get them? Why?
Peel, 15 through to 4.
Not gelatin. Yeah.
That could go a few different ways there, so can't get that in. Plants, 18 through to 2. This is one we've already got in. Pence. Can we get pence in there?
Alexa's cutting up garlic and carrot.
18 through to 2.
He's going to use food tech.
We can't get it in there unless we...
What's his food tech? What's he making? I don't know, but he's cutting up garlic and carrots. I don't know what that is. I don't know where someone...
So this is where my theory might prove itself wrong. It's got 18 to 2 there, unless I've got something here above the P. It looks like that's going to need to wrap around somewhere. P-E-N. P-E. Just not sure about this. Anyway, let's keep on going. 20 through to 31. It starts with T. Goes through the 31. It's not a clue that wraps around on itself. This could in fact go in a few different ways. T-A-P-E-R-E-D. E-E-R-E-D. T-A-P-E-R. Just can't go that way. T-A-P-E-R-E-D. Is that the only place we can get the E in? T-A-P-E-R-E-D. No, we can get the E in 2 separate places, so can't really have any confidence about any of that. Day old, 21 through to 31. Not one that cycles. This could go a few different ways as well. We do have the L here, but it could be D-A-Y-O-L-D. But it could potentially also go D-A-Y-O-L-D, so it doesn't give us anything that we can work with, unfortunately. Planar, I think we worked out there's only one place. Oh, we've already got our entry in for that. Snare, 23 through to 13. It fits with the planar. I'm going to make that permanent. I like that. Oh, what's daisy? Oh, what was it, daisy again? Let's make that black. Make the end permanent. All the rest of it is. You should absolutely stream some listeners. I've tried to do that over the last few days, but I think the last one I did took 7 or 8 hours. Unless you're a really, really fast solver. 23 through to 16 is spiel. This is a clue which seems to go through the other side of the grid. Yes, that would tend to put S-P-E-A-L. I'd tune in for that. I'd definitely tune in for that. I'm trying to work my way through at the moment. I've only done 3 of them so far, but the last 25 years of puzzles, which won the best listener every year, the Ascot Gold Cup. So I've got them all downloaded, ready to go, but I think it's going to be a labour that takes the entire year to get through. We put ammo in. Wig 32 to 25. Well, there's only one place I can go now. I think my thinking behind doing this isn't so much to actually have people watch it now, but just to create a record of how spectacular some of these puzzles are. So I think the creative, and also in the hope that there might be the odd person that stumbles across the video and thinks, you know what, I want to try and solve some advanced cryptics, because I think the creative output, or the range of different puzzles in some of these series, like the Listener series and the EV series and the Magpie magazine, it's just incredible how varied and weird and wonderful some of these puzzles are. 33 through to 11. I'm going to put the eye in here, because that's assuming that the grid wraps around itself horizontally as well as vertically. So vertically as well as horizontally. 35. Oh, we already have Xmas in. 37 to 3 ties. Once again, it's a clue that wraps around, so that's good. So it comes down here, it must be THA and back up to the IS. Okay, so I've got a few here then that we can pencil in. I wonder if... Now I suggest that this one starts with... I'm just going to put these entries that aren't confirmed in lowercase. So 6 would be H. I think that's the only one that we've got in red. Let me see if there's any other 6s. Oh, wait a second. I think I saw one there. Oh, no, it's... No, I think it's just... Where was it? Second clue. So the second clue may well start with H, and it's going to go through to 31. So 6 through to 31. It's only 6 letters, so it can't get there directly. Which must mean, I think, it's going to have to cycle. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 perhaps, or 4, 5, 6. But that would be consistent with the first 3 letters being his. So after... Ah, I know what this is. It's going to be whispered crossly. Not whispered crassly, whispered crossly. That's going to be the definition. Some in France taken back. I wonder if that is going to be des, or D-E-S. If anyone could confirm whether or not some in France is in fact D-E-S, but I suspect it is. That will give us hissed, which does mean whispered crossly. Otherwise fits the definition. Some in France taken aback. Then we go back to the start of the clue. After that man's. That man's is, of course, another way of saying his. Des, yeah, wonderful. Alright. Gives me some more confidence about this theory of mine about the... Sorry, one moment. S could go here. Oh no, S can only go here, I think, at this stage. It gives me some confidence about this theory that I have about cycled clues giving cycle entries. I think the definitions are in the middle because it's this part of the preamble here that I've got highlighted in pink. Certain entries have clues that start at an arbitrary point and wrap around to their beginning. So my working theory at the moment is that is why some of the clues are in the middle, because they are those ones. It doesn't help me to work out. Oh no, we did work out how soften could fit in with that theme. Suggests that 34 may be an S. Let me see if there's any other 34s. I think we already had 3 down as being an S, but so 10 through to 34, which path would that need to follow? We can get 7 letters directly between. That's 6, sorry. We can definitely get 7 letters between 10 and 34. We could probably also get it between 10 and 7 letters between 10 and 34 if it did cycle as well. But additional premium. Now I think that is AP. Oh, that's right. I think this is something around AP. I think it's a 5-letter word around AP. And it's a 5-letter word for it's absorbing, perhaps. Or in game, it's absorbing. Not sure what the change to bid facetiously would need to be in order to make that a do a correction there to give us a proper definition. I'm just going to press pause for a second. Just going to go do something. Alright, in case you guys haven't caught up with my previous video yet as well, the other thing about this puzzle which is exciting is that once it's completed, we can cut it out and we can fold it and glue it all together, and that will create an object. Alright. The letters that we do have...
Go and help him.
Oh, chap S. Oh, just give me a second. We can't have extra letters. We can only have corrections. Oh, hey, Shark. So, chess around AP. Let's have a look at that. Chap S must be a... Have I copied out the clue correctly? Because it is, of course, given as a... It's likely to be the answer. Additional premium, bid facetiously. In-game, it's absorbing. Bad, bed, bud, bod. So, chap S is a facetious word for a girl. So I do like that. Sorry, I keep on putting my tablet down and it changes. So there's 2 gimmicks. The first gimmick is that every definition has a misprint, but it's also the case that some of the clues actually cycle, and I think where a clue cycles, that means that the entry also cycles around the grid. Chap S. So we're looking for, if the answer is chap S, and the wordplay definitely works that way. So chess around AP. Let me see if we can go from 10 to 34 in the grid using those letters. 10 to 34. We absolutely can. I am going to put that in. I'm just not sure what the misprint is in the definition. So I need to change bid, I think, to a word that means a woman or a girl. It's probably going to be quite obvious, but so 10 is it CHAPES? Oh, wait a second. It's 34. Yeah, ESS. It tends to confirm the A that we have here next to the cell 11. And that all tends to confirm that we might be on the right path here with the answer to the clue above. Oh, bit facetiously. Is it bit a woman, is it? I suppose it might be a woman in certain pubs. Yeah, a girl or a young woman. We treat women much more respectfully in this country. Okay. So, 10 across. Sorry, 10 through 31. C, so the THE, C for college, and padre, anagrammed, gives chaptered. And it looks like we can get there here. So CHAP a T. Wait a second, maybe it wouldn't go that way, maybe it would go this way. CHAPTERED, 10 through 31, we could fit chaptered in those cells. But I'm just not sure, just can't confirm the definition. So, chapter as a noun probably doesn't help, but made, I mean, I'm wondering if we're changing a word from good. So to take to task, so made. Not sure. Anyway, what I'm going to do though, I'm confident that the answer is likely to be chaptered. It certainly starts that way. Not quite sure how we get it there, but sorry, again, it's just too sensitive. I'm sorry, this tablet. I'm going to put it in. TER. Actually, it could go two different ways. CHAPTERED or CHAPTERED. Either way, though, the ERED has to go in these cells, which gives us for 27 something starting with R, which keeps on bringing me back to repton. So repton is an anagram of where are we? An anagram of net pro, which would tend to be given by the wordplay here in this clue, being net profit halved unexpectedly. But he was a gardener. School in Hervey area. I mean, there does seem to be some similarity there between Hervey area and a garden and the gardener, but where are 27 through to 19. I don't think we could actually get Repton in that grid as it is at the moment, from 27 through to 19. No, we could. REPTON. But is that what we're actually after? Is it the answer? I mean, could there be a one-letter misprint in school? I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Let's do a pattern search for that misprint. Skull? No, top of rock. Don't like that. I mean, maybe it's not Repton at all. Do we have anything else starting with 27? We do. So we think this might now end in R. Delhi's prepared. Stewart's ice cream in southern region. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is the definition here. And I mean, oh, sorry, let me underline that. And it could be that we're changing D to T. It's all provisional. So what we're looking for is a Scottish word for ice cream. Yes, in southern region, Delhi's prepared. But I'm also not too... R doesn't give us region, does it? I don't think R is an abbreviation for region. So I'm not too sure how we get there. I'm thinking it could be an anagram here, but an anagram of Delhi's and something. I'm not sure. So what else do we have in the grid? We've got 7 to make its way through to 27. It would have to go through. Derby area is the name of a school. Ah, Repton's a school in Derby. Right. There we go. So I think that's probably where it helps to have a bit of local knowledge. Thank you, Shark. Where are we? Repton, 27. Right, let's make that. I think we worked out that this was the only path. REPTON. Nice. Might have enough letters to start looking at the trying to work out what the instruction might be here, and that may well help us work out. So I'm just going through. May help us try and work out what some of the other misprints might be. So. Might just come up the top and so we have RO something. I suspect it's a T though. I've got an A here. Well, it's obviously starting off rotate. Sorry, again, it's gone the way it shouldn't. sorry. Rotate. It could be rotation. Oh no. E T something T. One second. We had ET something T, RAG something N, RAG something N, something LDI, three gaps, ENOI, gap. I think that's it. So let me just check. RO, I think it's a T, A, T, something ET, something TRAG. Wait a second. We have a 2 here. The numeral 2. N something LD I gap of 3 ENOI gap. Yeah, I think that's right. Funny you should say tetrahedron. So wait a second, how do we... Unless I've got... Maybe I've got something wrong because... No, I don't think we can make tetrahedron. I wonder if it does, it is meant to start rotate though. I mean, that would rotate confirms Stuart. I'm sorry that it keeps flicking, I'm not sure how to lock it. Oh, there we go, portrait lock it there. Would tend to confirm that T in Stuart is the correction. I like rotate the. That means that correction here, if this in fact is chaptered, would have to be, I'm going to make something an E. Means that this would be H. So we would have rotate the. We do have tetra there, don't we? Potentially. Maybe in pills. I mean, is that an E there? Pels once. Pel is a skin or a hide. 17 through to 25 we have something IG. Well, it can only be something IG, I think. I mean, pig, wig. I'm not sure how that would give. Yeah, so that was Pels once. I really should be looking for... How does seeing an image from the rear give us that? So skin or a hide or a roll of parchment. No. Something else IG. I've already had week. Week? Don't think so. I don't think so. Shape we're making is a tetrahedron, i.e. a four-sided die with each of the points cut off, making an object with 4 hexagons. But can we get tetrahedron in here? I mean, we can get tetragon. You can definitely get tetra. So, I mean, I do think that we're looking for an E here to give pels. And I do think it's rotate the. I do agree with that. Oh, let's write these in here. I do like tetra. Which just can't quite squeeze some of those corrections in. If it's rotate the, then this one here, 12 through to 7, would give us an H. An H is the correction. H could go here. So another word for host is an army. Just imagine for a sec that this is a definition here. Stations as a general might, a host, and then we potentially have the wordplay being SPYLED and O. I think it's rotate the as well. I'm not going to muck around with anagrams. I'm going to put the anagram straight in, but let's see if that gives us deploys. Yes, of course. Deploys. That is a tricky one. Because it's 12 is a D, 7 is an S. So if that helps us out otherwise. I don't think we have anything else that starts or finishes on the 7. Oh, wait a second. We do. As we know though that this starts with S. Now we're cooking with gas. I think this is probably a good time to solve these things. I've got a grand total of 5 viewers, which is approaching my all-time record of 6. I was saying to somebody at work today, with my 9 followers, I think I might have maxed out the number of people on Twitch who are actually interested in watching people slow solve this style of advanced cryptic. I think all of the 9 people who might possibly be interested in watching this are already watching, which I'm quite happy with.
I'm watching as well.
So I'm told somebody here is watching as well, but I'm not sure that's actually true. So Delhi's prepared Stewart's ice cream in the southern region. It goes from 7 through to 27. Slider, maybe? Might be 10 if I speed run. I think even if I was to claim to be able to quick solve these things, it would still take me hours. I'd love to see somebody do a speed run through the listener. I'm sure it can be done. Absolutely sure it can be done. Only by much smarter individuals than me, I think. So looking at the grid, I mean, just looking at ways that 7 can get through to 27. There's only 3 or 4 ways through a penultimate letter being a D, an E, or a P. I mean, obviously it's going to be an E if it ends in ER. Slider could be delis with an R on the end. Not quite sure how we get the R, but let's have a look at whether slider can mean ice cream or something like that. There you go, ice cream served between wafers. I think yes, it's got to be slider. Scottish word, and that's of course a Scots word. But how does that give us? Where do we get the R from? Where do we get the R? Right, no, that there, this clue's been copied out incorrectly. So, Southern Region is an abbreviation for SR. I was looking at delis with the S on the end, but it's actually Delhi apostrophe S. So, the clue is correct. Where are we? My transcription of it was incorrect. Just working on my operating theory, because this is a clue where the definition starts isn't at the start or the end. It's going to be one of those entries which also needs to wrap around somehow. So we go from 7 here. We're going to go from here to here. I think the only way we can do that is if we go this way. SLIDER. Actually, no, the L might not be in that spot because we could also go SLIDER. But either way, we can be sure of the position of the I. The I must go here. Beautiful. Alright, 8 through 7. We know antiquities of the past now is definitely going to end in an S. Could well. And if we assume that this is, aside from the misprint, it's normal, the enumeration is going to be something L something S, or it's going to be something DS. Antiquities in the past. To be an element of field study. ELDS. ELDS. Yeah, an antiquity. There we go. I mean, once again, that's something that really should have picked up on the first run through, because I mean, it's exactly what you look for. Although it doesn't actually tell us which, if it's going to go, what's going to happen after the E. So Shark says, where's the corruption clue? Oh, here we go. Chapter. Not sure if it's correct, but there is a word corruption instead of corruption. Let's look that up, because that would... It's one of those things where given corruption at the start as well as made good can both separately be anagram indicators. We have found the misprint, let's go. Shortening in pronunciation, a reproof. So reproof is to make it waterproof again. Shortening in pronunciation. But we're working on a basis that it's chaptered from 10 through to 31. Chapter means to divide into chapters or to take to task. Absolutely. That, in the sense of to take to task, would give us that. For anyone who doesn't know, that's the other two of you. Shark was one of the setters of the first crossword that I solved on this stream, which I think is still up, which is Wondrous. I think he's set a few crosswords before. Apparently he's not too bad at it. Because we'd already presumed that chaptered was the answer, I'm just going to make that C nicer. It doesn't actually help us get anything more out at this stage because you're either having a P here or a T there, but not both. They can go around either way. Just cleaning up some of these things. Do we have anything more for 14 and 16? 14 to 26. Corruption is a common word that I'm surprised you don't know because everybody knows it. It means a reproof. It's definitely something that everybody knows without having to look up. 14 through to 26. Here we go. For a word meaning describing disease. Yeah, that corruption. I don't think this ends in GE anymore. And it's only 7 letters, and there's only so many ways we can get from 14 through to 26. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think there are actually any variations on those two paths, but let's just copy those out and see what we end up with. So we could go PA something, NT something. Or it could be ETO EN something, I think. Or could go something ET, something NT, could sort of cross over. We could go something PA, no, I think that's it. Yeah, I think those are the ways we can get to 26, unless of course we're actually meant to be cycling in some way, but I don't think we are. So describing disease, exposed skin. It's greenish blue around the edges. Greenish blue around the edges. It has exposed skin, could be to bare or to tan or to I really like that. That one there, that not sure. Simply not sure. Right, what else do we have? So I can of course cancel that in. Fig is piles, which is a gift backwards. Oh Jesus. Okay. Piles. Yeah, unpleasant. Image from the rear. So that confirms it for 17. Thank you for that. 17 across we have, so 17 through 26 we have this. Confirms this I here. Putting fig there. So make it a nicer F. Do we have anything else that starts or ends in 17? I don't think we do. 30 through 5 would be nice to get at. Can I put deploys in? I think I did, didn't I? Oh, did I work out that there was an ambiguity? So that was 12 through 7. It doesn't cycle. I think we worked out, actually maybe we can now. I think we'll have to go around here like this. Down and around. And I haven't checked exhaustively, but I suspect that might be the only way we can get it in. I wonder if there's any others that I haven't. We can revisit any of the others that we haven't put in the grid yet. So 15 to 4 was peel. Well, that is in there. Plants, 18 to 2. We've got that in. 18 to 2 pence. This one's troubling me a little bit, and it makes me wonder whether I've got plants wrong. I think I do. I'm not sure if this is going to upset other things in this area, but plants could potentially go like this. And that would enable pence to fit in there. 18 to 2, because previously we weren't able to get pence in there. And I wonder if that changes anything with our clue that starts with, I think there's a clue that ends with 26. It does. It changes these enumerations as well in a non-trivial way, because suddenly we have things that might actually start to look like an adjective. And obviously that central path is not correct. But we have two different paths now from 14 through to 26, which could be a word meaning describing disease. So greenish blue, that's got to be, well, greenish blue is April, right? So April, around the edges of exposed skin. Oh, what's happening? Exposed skin. Teal could also be greenish blue. So we've got, it's going to be tetonal, isn't it? Tetonal, does that describe disease? No. Tetanal? Tetanal. It's in tetanus. Of course, exposed skin is tetan, so teal around tetanus. Beautiful. So that gives us, we're going from 14 through to 26. Yep, that's completely accommodated by the entries we have there. Oh, sorry, tetanal, not teton. That means we need to put the A here. Beautiful. Nicely done. These are much funner as a collaborative solve. I think probably start looking for, so for example here, we need to go from 29 to 30, but everything's so constrained around it that, I mean, alternative technology has definitely got to be A. We've got a land net. We can get there with Alanat. Is that a word? No. Or plan. No. Alternative technology pursuing a design for a lens distorting legs. Just looking at the plant. Is that what we're thinking? No. Aplanet? Is that a word? It is. An aplantic lens. So aplantic means free from spherical aberration. So what would the just simply a matter of putting the A in the 29 grid, the rest of the letters are already there. Oh, I'd enumerated this incorrectly here, I see. A lens distorting legs. A lens distorting leads, perhaps, or not sure, but we're definitely got something there. Whereabouts in the? That's the clue that's going to give the correction that appears after the I. $30 through to 5. Less. That's less. The lens distorting less. Okay. Oh, free from spherical. Oh, I see. So less distortion. Gotcha. Just go through and make some of these. What's it, Archie? Nice. I think I was saying before, one of the great things about these types of puzzles is I think the changes to the definitions can get very witty, or very clever at least. Just trying to look for a few others that are likely to be easier. So 38 through to 21. You've got the 21 in D. 6 letters. I mean, this could go either way. It could be one of those cycling clues. It might not be. What about this one? 39 through to 13, which has to be a 6. It has to be a cycling clue. I think it, in fact, it probably has to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably has to end in Lee. And Brett Lee was a fast bowler, I think. I think it probably has to end in Lee to get from 39 up there. It might be that the second letter has to be I. In fact, I think that's exactly what it has to be. He made fast 10 deliveries, reportedly, a pure person. I'm going to do a pattern search on this one because I wonder if it's somebody. Lilly. Australian cricketer, different cricketer, not Brett Lee, it's going to be Dennis Lilly. So, a pure person be a homophone of a Lily. Yeah, person of great purity. And it's going to be test deliveries, not tent deliveries. Which gives us an S for that misprint. L-I... how do we spell Lily? It's L-L-E-E, isn't it? That means that the clue must start there. So that little supposition about the reason why clues start in particular places is correct. I don't think 39 appeared elsewhere, so that doesn't give us anything else. But let's come back to 38. I think we can get rid of this idea of lad. That's 38 through to 21. 6 letters. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could go 1, 2, 4, 5. Probably not that way. I got boy. This squat has 7 knowing little. Sure, that could be. Possibly cycled. Squad has 7. Wait a second. Where are we? There we go. Squad has 7. This squad has 7. That would suggest like a SEP something, right? This squad has... I think it has to be cycled. This squad has 7 knowing little boy. Sep Tad. Tad might be little. Yeah, it's going to be Septad. S. I can see it there. So S-E-P-T-A-D. I'm potentially going on a limb here, but let's work this through. Boy would... so the definition of septad. Maybe I've just entered a word that's not actually a word. Heptad, not septad, heptad. That's what's going to be. Heptad also denotes 7. So to hep is to be knowing, little is a tad. Maybe little's a little lad. It's funny oh, sorry. Probably work without the. Probably defined either way. Oh no, probably can't. A group of 7. Yeah, I can squad. I mean, squad's got to be a group of 7, doesn't it? Nice spot, Darren. So that gives us D for squad instead of squat. We do have something that cycles through. Just updating our misprints here. I think we do have. We've confirmed this. We've confirmed the H. We've confirmed the E in piles. Oh, sorry. Confirm the E in piles. I did have here for 22 across, just whilst I go through and check the rest of it, I'll pull that up. I'll change this from 3D to 2D. Planar being flat, something that's flat. So a net in 2D, as an example, would be planar. That's what I was thinking there, but I tend to agree that it's certainly not looking as good as what it was before. No, I know what I've done wrong. It's not a net in 3D. It's in 2D. It's not in 3D. So that gives us an O. I think it effectively means on either version of that misprint, you could get a valid clue, I think. Sorry, valid definition for the clue. So rotate the tetragon. Below that we had this. So spiel is, I think, a Scots word for shoulder. So definition is for bury a joint. Let me. Have I got this? Have I got it in there? It helps us also complete. Wait a second. This is interesting. Oh no, it's to 16, not to 4. So it's 23 through to 16, yeah. We've already got the A here. Barra. Is that a Scottish connotation? A small island in the Hebrides, so that's got to be Barra for that. So that's just what I was trying to work out where the misprint was. So it's Barry. Sorry. To Barra. Barra being an island in the Hebrides. Is that how you pronounce it, Hebrides? Out of Hebrides. So that gives us, that is a Scottish word. And the A then fits nicely with that. Rotate the tetragonal Sorry, I'm just Go through and marking these up as I go. You have these two here. Distenoids. We actually solved all of the clues except for two. I think we may well have. Yeah, we've solved everything except these two here. Oh, that's better than I thought it was. Much better position than I thought we were in. So 32 through to 31, which I was thinking is a word for a word meaning unhinged in Scotland, or perhaps in Western Australia. There's an O inside a three-letter word for conservation trust. We have it has to be WO something, looking at what we have here in the grid at the moment, because there's only one pathway for that 32. It's this way to get back up to that 1. Then what do we have for 30 through to 5? Where's our 30? N here. Got 6 letters. We need to get up to 5. Let's just surely go this way. NOS. Something like that, maybe. Or perhaps to fill out the grid, let's go NOS this way. Either way, I think it's likely to go NOS, so that could mean not or something like that. Yeah, I was thinking, WWF we were looking at before, is a conservation trust. Is that a word? Oh, it is. Oh, I was thinking there's no way you could fit O inside WWF and get a real word. Looks like I'm the wolf one. What? There's a thematic crossword. That gives us unhinged. WO. Okay, so we now have. This is starting to get quite interesting. We need a O and S there. WOWF, which where are we? Let's come back here for a second. I think this has to be. Could it be no show? We have OWO there. On food for Marty, that's got to be nosh. Failing to arrive. Misery returns has got to be woe. Or earlier misery returns. That's got. I think what this is nosh plus woe backwards, and I suspect that's going to be WO backwards is going to be an archaic version of misery. Yeah, archaic woe. So no show is failing to arrive. Could it be for party failing to arrive? I'm going to put it in. I like it there. No show. I reckon it's going to be for party failing to arrive. And I wonder if that means that we're not looking for noids, we're actually looking for roids. Just looking at this. This one really sort of creeped up on me. I think I didn't realise we were quite this far through. I was starting to sink in and really enjoy it. I don't know, maybe. Dyspheroids or dysphenoids? Dysphenoid. It's not a word. Dyspheroid. Spheroid is. What sphenoid is. Oh, no, sphenoid is as well. Wedge shaped, apply to a set of bones. Wedge shaped crystal form of 4 triangular faces. I actually do know the shape that we're seeking to make. I just can't remember what the so that's rotate, not row rate. Sphenoid is looking good. We have the message. Let's Google tetragonal dysphenoid. Dysphenoids. A tetragonal dysphenoid is a thing. It's got its own Wikipedia page, so we've definitely got all the answers right there. What I am slightly concerned about, though, is that even though, well, I'm not concerned, it's just it can be a bit of a pain in the ass to go through and work out which of these entries we haven't actually entered. I'm just going to make these provisional entries that we have in red permanent. And what I'll do is I'll zoom in here just in case anybody wants to take a screenshot of that and print it out and cut it up, because oh no, we've got Wolf 32 to up here. No, it's not spelt that way. It's WOWF, not WOFW. You get a better GIF. Was it a GIF or an icon? I'm not sure. All right, I'm just going to go through and account for all of these. Soften starts at 2, it ends up in 30, and we know it goes this way. Happy with that. Happy with soften. Hist. Happy with that. Slider 2 to 7 to 27. Seven to 27. Where are we? Ah, there we go. Up here. That's correct. 8 through to 7 is L's. Ah, here we go. Have to have an L there for L's, I think. So that helps us. 9 through to 16 is opals. Where's 9? That gives us opal. Yeah, that gives us a P here. Right, I'm not going to check the rest of it because we do have a complete grid fill there. What I'm going to do